Hey guys, what's going on? Basscop coming at you here on a kind of a chilly day here. We're only up to about 45 degrees, so I don't know how much outside work I'm actually going to do. Not that it's any warmer inside the garage here, but figured I don't have no lumber yet. I had a problem with getting the truck today. My father-in-law was busy, and he's my truck source. But anyways, so figured we're going to get a jump start on door panels. In the last episode, you seen I started trimming and cutting on those. So today we're going to get a jump start on those since they're so time-consuming, and it'll probably take the whole build process of working on these off and on just to get those done with the rest of the build. So we're going to work on those today, and I'll show you a little bit how I'm doing that. So stick around. So here's my panel here, and here's kind of the idea I have for this layout. I want to put 4/8 in each door along with some tweeters here. So as you can see, I kind of got my reins kind of laid out here. This is an old rein from another project. But I wanted to do 4 of them all the way across the bottom of the panel, but I don't think I'm going to have the room with the seat and with the closing of the door to do it. So I think I'm going to kind of have to stagger one of them here, which I don't think is that big a deal. Might have to do some more trimming on the plastic air, which ain't no big deal because it used to be a tweeter here before, and kind of got an idea to put my tweeters here. I wanted to put them here, right here, but I don't have the clearance for my dash when the door is shut to put 2 of them here with the door handle as well. Plus to keep my controls there, I want to keep those here. So I think we're going to put them here and go from there. So we'll start getting these reins together. And all, by the way, when I say I'm total Audiopipe, I mean it. I am total Audiopipe. Yes, I'm lazy. I pre-buy these reins. They're cheap, but these are Audiopipe. Audiopipe pre-made reins. Makes life a lot easier and speeds the build process up just a little bit when you already have those. You don't have to mess around with cutting them. Plus they're already countersunk. So we'll get to framing these up. Alright, as you guys can see here, these ain't attached yet. What I'm kind of do is lay them out here. Use this as a guide. This is a little piece of aluminum I use as a bus bar. Put these together like so. And then take a Sharpie here and mark these where my contact point is going to be. Like so. On those ones. And then the same thing for the tweeters. We'll get these lined up straight as we can get them. Damn it. Those look pretty straight. And then we'll mark these like so. So we can align those up when we glue them. We'll set those to the side here. Bring these back. Once you got those lined up again, right there, like so. Mark this one again too. That one we won't have to mark, it's not a big deal. So we set this to the side. And I'm going to use this instant high strength epoxy by Loctite. Set that on there. Man, this stuff smells like a skunk. This is the self-mixing kind, that way you don't have to mix it yourself and mix too much or not enough. So I'm just going to slather this on there. Like so. Push these together at the contact point. Squeeze them tight. Clamp them. Give another little bead out here on the outside edge, just be on the safe side. It's the same thing for this one. Slather it on there real good. This is the gel type too, so it doesn't run all over the place. Line it up. Clamp it. Now this one doesn't matter, like I said, didn't have to be marked. Well, it's level with this guide that I'm using. Clamp it and come back to these. A little bit on here because I'm almost empty. Line that up. And voila, that's going to be my layout. Just like so. Okay guys, it's a good thing I went back and watched what I previously done, because I almost made a big mistake. I had to take this apart because I didn't account for one being opposite of the other, driver and passenger door. So I had them both like this, and it needs to be like this for this would be what I believe would be the, think about it here, this will be the passenger door. So I almost screwed up big time. So rectify this here. And my mixture, my epoxy got hard in the mixture on me, so got to do it like this. Hopefully this will hold. straight. And there, glad I caught that, because that would have been all bad. But we're in like Flint now. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see it here. We're going to start wrapping it up for tonight because it's dropped about 15 degrees since I came out and started working on it this afternoon. And I don't know if you can see it, but now it's starting to snow. So we're going to wrap it up. It's getting a little too cold to work on it, and I don't want to be using the epoxy no more because of getting too cold. I want to make sure it sets up. But here's where I'm at now. I started to mock these up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these right about here. I kind of sketched out a rough idea of where we're at. But I don't want to glue those down yet. I got to prep that surface. But as you can see, that is angled a little bit, so it kind of angles up a little bit because the curvature of this door kind of goes in. I want to kind of angle those up and out since they're going to be where they're at anyway. That's kind of where we're at. If I'm these reins here. But give you a general idea, but we're going to stop for today. This isn't the this isn't going to be the end of this this episode here. Kind of want to maybe start making these a little bit longer, but you're getting the idea here how I want to lay it out. Obviously I still got to make some spacers and whatnot to bring these up to where I want them, kind of get them angled. But like I said, it's after 7 o'clock and it's starting to snow, so we'll pick this back up when the weather's a little bit better. Alright, coming back at you guys here. We're working inside here the last couple of days on these door panels because it has barely gotten over 30 degrees and I want to keep working on this stain regardless. So this is where I'm at. I got this one mocked. Well, it's not mocked up now. As you can see, I got my tweeter pods mounted here. And I got my range for my speakers mounted to the door. These are just epoxied on. Some people like to screw them from the back. I really don't think it matters. Because once I stretch the fleece over it and go over with a few layers of fiberglass mat, probably weave them together a little bit, hit it with a few more coats of resin, this whole door should be pretty strong. And my friend Jason Predieri says that he's got a technique that he calls peanut butter. I think that's what he called it, that he wants to show me for fiberglass, and so might take a little pointer from him and give those a try. So this one's ready for fleece as soon as the rest of the epoxy sets up. I'm not going to stretch anything on it tonight. I want that epoxy to set for a good 12 or 24 hours to really get a strong bond. So I'll start working on this. Is the driver's panel here. I'll start working on the next one here, and I'll kind of show you how I'm doing that. Okay, so now we're going to work on this one. Now I need to get this to match up as close as I can to this panel. And it's going to be right in this area generally. Now what I'm going to do is, my first 2 points, I'm going to go off of those so these match using these dowel rods. Now that obviously is too long, so I got more here. $3 at hardware store. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these 2 corners because this height is going to be identical to the other door panel, so I don't worry about that. But these are the 2 corners here is what I'm worried about as my height. So once I get that height, so I'm going to start with these 2 pins here. And that gives me my general height, and then I'll just work on moving this around until I get it in the right spot. So let's go cut a couple of these dowels down to the size that we need. Okay guys, we're going to do a little bit of this cutting on the dowel outside, so I'm not getting sawdust all over in the house, and we're going to use an old-fashioned miter box here to do this. Don't look at my straw in the yard there. I had a water leak a couple months ago. So we know this first one is set at 2 3/4. So that's what we're going to cut it at. This old-fashioned saw is kind of difficult sometimes. You get it on a little bit of a bind, and it wants to kind of stop on you. Okay, so for the second one, I know it needs to be 3 7/8. So we got it marked out. Get lined up on our mark. And voila. This old thing, I don't know, this thing's probably 50, 60 years old, but it comes in handy for stuff like this. Now, to make sure that I'm getting the dowels in the approximate location as the other setup, what I did is I laid this on the other door panels there, and I marked where I set those dowels at on each one, each point that I had a dowel set. That way I get them approximately in the same place on each panel. That way we get them to look almost identical, if not identical. So we know this one is going to go here. This one's going to go approximately this area, give or take. That way we have the same height or depth, however you want to look at it, for each one. So we'll get these 2 glued in place first, and then we'll go through all our other marks. We'll measure those out. They may be slightly different from the other ones, but I wanted to make sure that I get these 2, which is going to be the difference here. I wanted to make sure that those are identical. So as you can see on this panel, I've kind of marked the general areas where these dowels are going to sit on the door panel, and I've started setting some of these dowels on here, and it's kind of time consuming because I'm only doing a couple at a time, letting them set up, flip it over, make sure I got it all right and everything's in the right spot, and then measuring for a couple others. But once I get all these set, as you can see that circle up there where I used to have tweeters, I will cut those out to allow for that top speaker to sit recessed in the door panel. And then I will mount my tweeter pods up there just behind the door handle, and I'm thinking about maybe getting some swivel tweeters. Audiopipe makes some of those too, just to put up here in the top corner there, just where it will clear the dash, just to maybe add some more tweet. But I'll check back with you once I get some more of these added. Okay, I've got this panel wrapped now. It turned out decent. I made a couple of mistakes, but should be something I can't correct after I get some resin on them. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Once the weight of the resin gets on this, it'll define the look a little more, I believe. And we're moving on to this one. Got these all set. So we'll start getting these wrapped with the fleece. Hopefully I can get it to turn out like this one. But we're moving along slowly. It's another crappy day outside, so no outside working, so we'll keep working on these inside. So I got to start on this one, and I wanted to show you guys. I don't know if I pointed this out before, but these are old door handles out of the junkyard panels that I got that I made last year. I wanted to keep the handle, the door lock and door handle to open and close it, and the window controls still in these doors. So what I take then doing is using these old ones just for now, for stretching this and holding the material in place. Now once I resin these up, I'll take these off and I'll sand everything down and get everything to where I want it, and then I should be able to take my original panel handles that go to these doors and use them. So that's my thoughts and intentions behind that. Like I said, I don't know if I pointed that out earlier in some of my video here or not. Okay guys, I've spent the last couple hours here off and on stretching this fleece and getting it stapled in. So this panel is basically done here. The only thing I got to do now is account for the section there just above the armrest where my window controls go and the door handle to open the door. I got to cut it out yet, but I'm not going to work on it tonight. I got to go to bed. I got to get up at crack of dawn and go to work. So that's basically going to be it. We'll kind of consider this part one of the door panels. Up next will be resin and reinforcing them if need be with some matting and whatnot. But we'll go from there. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to follow me on the other social media. And that's it for door panels part one, I guess. Base on, guys.